Hello, friends. This is Scott. And in 2022, when we purchased a homestead, I lacked two things, or three things. I lacked irrigation water, as you see my neighbor has. I had a pasture that had been neglected and not watered for many, many years, or mowed, or maintained at all. And I have to water with culinary water, which is not a good thing for me. And I've got some fencing I've got to put in. But as you see, the neighbor's got great irrigation, and you see the overspray, and that's the potential for my yard or my pasture. If I can, once I get it under control, it'll be nice and green. And the neighbor did have two cows on his property and fenced away from my property. And you see Mr. Lincoln, he was the new jerk in the neighborhood. But yeah, he was enjoying himself being out in the pasture without any of the big animals able to get in. But there they are. That's what I need right there. I need a green pasture, and I need those two cows or a couple cows on my property to help me with all the maintenance and the eating and the fertility provided by the steers. So this was the next year, and I talked to the neighbor, and we made an arrangement. I could get irrigation water of his, and he'd water my pasture, and I was going to let him graze his cows on my property. So it was kind of a win-win. And you see I'm excited for having water and not having to pay for culinary water to try to water this big of an area. Still have to use culinary for everything else in my yard, but at least not for this section. And I'm hoping to build this pasture back up. And the first animal he brought was a horse. And this animal ended up being brought to the property every year, and I assume this year also. But the horse was the first animal to get on there and start making a dent. Pretty friendly horse, a nice mare. And didn't know when he was going to bring the cattle, but I figured he was going to bring a couple, I think. So we'll just kind of wait and see. But the horse at least is getting a start at eating all this tall grass. Spring rains sure bring up, even on a neglected pasture, sure bring the grasses. The horse did come with one bad habit, which it liked to scratch its rear end on the gate. So that was a gate I put in last fall, and I'm hoping it holds up. We'll see, but I hope it's not a permanent habit for this horse. But putting a lot of weight on that gate. So I guess my handiwork was okay because the gate didn't go anywhere. It stuck its course. So, but I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that and make sure that doesn't keep happening. So in July of 2023, I came back down to the homestead from a trip up north, and there we go. There's our first cattle on the homestead pasture. And there's two steers. One, obviously there's an age difference between those two steers, but they should have plenty of grass to get fattened up on, and it'll be curious to see how long it takes these animals to totally graze down this pasture. It's only approximately a quarter acre, but I'm just excited that I don't have to do, the mowing. I'll do a finish mowing probably, but these animals will take care of most everything. They won't eat all the weeds. I'll have to knock some down, but horse is pretty friendly. So it took them a couple months, maybe a month and a half, 2 months, and they'd knock this right down. But you even see with the irrigation water and the grazing, you see how green that grass is, and the pasture looks so much better. It's even looking better than the neighbor's property. So it doesn't take long. When you get animals on pasture, everything improves. So in June of 2024, we got these two critters. And again, there's this huge size difference between those two cows, but mostly it's because it's the genetics. And the horse is back, but the one on the left, the smaller one, is a Wagyu beef, and the other one is a Angus cross of some kind. So that's a big cow already, and that cow will get fattened up throughout the year. And as you see, the Wagyu will always be considerably smaller, but still a nice cow. And the Wagyu beef is supposed to be one of the best in the world. So the neighbor's going to be lucky with that one. And over the summer, they grazed her down, and they did a very good job. I even put a gate in between the properties so that we could move in the future we could just move cows back and forth without having to trailer them or move them around, build temporary fencing to get them from my property to his. Now there's just a single gate so they can walk right through it. So this was last weekend in May of 2025, and look what we have here. It's rare that we don't get rid of the two mature cows before we bring in the new ones. Pasture grass hasn't had a chance to grow yet, but we've got a herd now, and that's the from the old cows. That's the Wagyu on the left, and the Angus mix on the right. So they've got considerable size to them, and as you see with the two newbies, they've got a lot of room to grow. And so I'm going to be a little curious of how they're going to do because the grass has not grown yet. But I assume that the two big cows will be leaving shortly to freezer camp, so it won't be a big deal. They've got approximately 1.5 acres between the two properties, my neighbor's and mine, to graze, and so with those two cows, that's not going to be a big deal. The horse is not on the property yet, so we'll see if he even brings the horse. I don't know yet. I haven't talked to him, but they're all looking good, and again, the newbies are always skittish, but the big steer is just a big old teddy bear and a very nice cow, and I can just pet this one all day long, and all it is all tongue. So again, usually we don't have the old cows with the new cows, so they don't get trained on, at least being able to see me being nice, from the relationship I've built with these cows. So these, got an advantage here. I should be able to make friends with the new cows quicker. And this was a funny moment. I was dragging the hose to start hooking up the irrigation water, and boy, they see any movement, and they've got to come check it out. So here they come, and chasing the hose. So, yeah, cows are funny. And my first set of cows, the neighbors' cows, they wouldn't have anything to do with me. They'd run away from the fence, but anytime I was mowing, with a loud lawnmower, I'd turn around, they'd be right on the fence line. So, yeah, cows are interesting creatures. They're scared of their own shadow at one point, but noises and movement, they're all about it and all checking it out. But yeah, these newbies aren't going to trust me up to this point, even though they've seen a little bit of petting going on with the older ones. But yeah, they're getting close, they're hanging close, and they're keeping the big cows in between us so that yeah, they got some protection there. And as you see, they're backing up. But that's Wagyu on the left, and this is the head shaker. And yeah, you got to be careful with that one. I got to be a little leery with him in the pasture too. He might play a little rough, but the old one, the old biggie, he's just an old teddy bear. So I'm not too worried about that cow. But again, you never trust any animal. But yeah, that big cow is it's even let me pet it sitting down or laying down. And yeah, you see the other two are checking things out, but they're not going to get any closer. That's about as good as it's going to get for them today. But yeah, they're starting to learn their way. Next morning, they all seem to be doing well, and they're all looking good, enjoying the nice cool morning air. And they're nicely dispersed throughout the pasture. And again, there's Mr. Wagyu, and I'm going to give him a pet. And he might even realize that the end is near because he didn't even, throw his head really. So he's enjoying a little bit of a scratch, and yeah, he's even calmed down a little bit. And the big boy always wants a scratch. So yeah, you never know. This might be the last time I see these animals, as I'm going to be heading out of town again. And yeah, these two might be gone. But he said May was going to be freezer camp, and I just don't know exactly when in May. But yeah, I miss these cows. They're fun to have around. I really enjoy them, and I really like the fertility, and I really like what they're doing with improving my pasture. But yeah, the future and the past are all together this morning. And they enjoy the distributing out throughout the pasture. And as you see, I wanted to give kind of a scan of the pasture. It's been grazed down because they've been on it. There's been no break, but looking good. And it'll still look even better once I put some more water on it. I think I've watered once so far. So yeah, it's looking good, and I'm hoping we'll get some rains to help with that. But yeah, but again, I'm getting ready to head out of town, and I'll get one last look at these cows, and they're always in my business. And yeah, they're funny. The Wagyu's coming up, and I think he's even going to show me a little bit of orneriness, but we'll see. But the baby's starting to get, he's seeing me feed him with some grass, so he's learning. And I bet you I can pet that cow and at least get it to lick my hand here in the next week or so. So, the yellow or the gold one, I don't know how long it's going to take, but yeah, they're all hanging out. Every time I'm back here, they're always up at the fence line, and they seem to be in my yard more than they are the neighbors. But they got more grass over there, so yeah, they'll spread out. But yeah, the big cow is always in my composting business, and he's always eating my leaves. But I think the chickens, he may even sense that these big cows are going to go bye-bye, and they wanted to hang out with them. So got the whole barnyard here. Not much of a barnyard, but yeah, we'll grow over time. Decided to give it a try to get the little cow to come, but nope. But Wagyu wants to throw his head at least once more. So, yep. And all the weeds I pulled from my raspberries from my last video, I threw in the compost bin, and yeah, big cow will take care of those. So, yeah, it's a bittersweet thing about the homestead is the cycle of life. You've got you're always changing over. There's always new life, and then there's always saying goodbye. And yeah. They're good old cows, and see you, buddy. I'm going to miss you.